There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotion had an echo in so much space. And when you out there without care, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know, I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. And I hope that you're having the time of your life. Think twice. That's my only advice.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to spend a few moments with me here on SML TV. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I hear vloggers say this all the time, and I find it so interesting that they say it with such ease. I'm going to take the opportunity now to do that myself. If you're new here, please go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell notification, is that what they call it, so that every time I churn out a new video, you are aware. Thank you. Hey, Dea Bilikol, Mr. Mayor of Lusaka, good morning. Well, that's so kind of you to say. That's so kind of you to say. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. Just a few moments today, a couple of things I'd like to get off my chest. As you know, Mr. Kambwili has been on a rampage, a continued rampage in sort of trying to propagate this message of tribalism. And let me say on the outset that and I constantly say this, Mr. Kambwili is someone I know very well. And over the years, I've come to, I like him. I like him, but I don't like his tribal rhetoric. He was one of the architects of the tribal Tonga message, the anti-Tonga message that he was trying so desperately to sort of ingrain within the Zambian psyche. He tried it and it fell flat on its face. Mr. Kambwili did not succeed because 2.8 million Zambians said no to tribalism. And of course, the election results showed the Zambian people that Zambia had clearly made a choice between degradation and development, a choice between anarchy and methodology. And I think that choice is clear. Now, of course, we know that there's no such thing as a perfect administration. We all say that, but I think sometimes we lose sight of that. There's no such thing as a perfect administration, but there is such a thing as perfect intent. And I think that this administration, along with President Hakainde Hichilema, they have intention for this country. They intend to see this country progress. They intend to see this country do better than what it did during the previous administration. They intend to see this nation come up out of the mire clay of this chain of debt. They intend to do that. And I think that we have to give them time to do that. Nothing is instantaneous. Nothing happens by spontaneous combustion. Nothing. You must know that. So I think that Kambwili's tribal rhetoric is misplaced. It has no place in the Zambian space. It has no place in the Zambian psyche. It has no place in the hearts of Zambians because, in effect, what Kambwili is trying to do, and I'm so sad to see him doing this, is that he's trying to divide this nation. That's the truth. He's trying to divide this country on tribal lines. This is something that the Patriotic Front tried to do. One of the things that the Patriotic Front under President Edgar Lungu did was that they used Kambwili to try and split this nation for their own personal advantage. It's not going to work. It's not going to fly because we have sussed you out. We have seen you for what you are. We have decoded, we have deciphered you, and we know what you're up to. And what you're up to is to divide this nation so that you can conquer it for your own personal gain, your own personal aggrandizement. But the Zambian people say no. The Zambian people say we're not having it. The Zambian people say, yes, we've got issues. Yes, it's not perfect, but we strive for a more perfect union. America, with all of its difficulties, America, with all of its problems, America, with all of its challenges, still strives to attain a more perfect union. We are no different. And don't try to use tribe to split us. You've tried that. It doesn't work. It didn't work then, and it will not work now. So Kambwili, and I know that he's received, Mr. Chishimba Kambwili has received multiple words of advice from not only from the public, but from people from within his inner circle. But politicians sometimes they don't get it. They don't get it. It reminds me of that old saying by Oprah Winfrey. God teaches us lessons in phases. Sometimes God just drops a pebble on our head. If we don't get it, he drops a brick. And if he doesn't get it, if we don't get it, sometimes a whole house falls on top of our heads until we get the lesson. Learn the lesson. What's the lesson? The lesson is Zambians reject tribalism. You are preaching a message of anarchy, an antiquated message that has no place in Zambia. It doesn't. Preach love. Preach oneness. Preach togetherness. In the words of Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5, togetherness is all we're after. I'll be there. You be there. Togetherness is all we are after. Goodness. All right. Second point I wanted to make. The reason the UPND's leadership is different, there are many reasons, but let me just point out something that I think is really, really important. In the last few weeks, there's been a spirit of angst, angst, spirit of impatientness. People are impatient. People have the fierce urgency of now. They want things done now. They want change to be effected now. Well, sometimes it doesn't happen that way. Sometimes change is methodical. Change is methodical. And this is a message that President Hakainde Hichilema has been preaching. And I think this is something that we all have to embrace as Zambians. Because for so long, it was done in the wrong way. For so long, the PF lowered the quality of leadership so low that we began to see things that were wrong as though they were right. And then here it is, the first time in a very long time, we have a president that wants to be methodical. Do you know what this word means, methodical? Methodical. Done according to a systematic or an established procedure. Established procedure. Methodical. Sometimes I fear sometimes that within the context of Zambian, in particular, Zambian politics, we want things done now. Forget procedure. Forget procedure. Just hurdle over, jump over the procedure, just get to the point. Well, sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes we have to yield ourselves to the process. We must do that. And I think that this is the clarion call of 887, President Hakainde Hichilema. What he's saying is be methodical. Cross the T's, dot the I's. Don't preempt. Don't overstep. Don't sidestep. Go through the procedure systematically. Now, when you have that, when you have a leadership that introduces that type of politics, that type of real politics, it's very uncomfortable for many people because they're not used to it. And the reason that the UPND's leadership is different in this regard is because we were so used to things being done haphazardly for so long. We were so used to having a president in President Edgar Lungu that would say one thing and do something else. We were so used to Kadas running the show. We were so used to these degenerates doing whatever they wanted to do and doing it with impunity. We became accustomed to that. And because we became accustomed to that way of functioning, here it is, we have a new president that comes in and says, no, that's not the way to do it. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to be methodical. When you're dealing with the vast majority of our electorate that is uneducated, methodical is not a word that they want to embrace. Sad to say. Methodical is not a word that most people that are impatient and most people that do not yield themselves to the process, that's a word that they don't want to hear. But the president keeps using that word. Let's be methodical. Let's be magnanimous in the way we do things. Last point, Slap D. I know he's been in the news lately, and I think there was some type of online competition, and the Zambian online media audience decided to sort of, go against the grain and vote for someone else instead of voting for Slap D. And Slap D gave his reasons for doing the songs that he did that were politically aligned. Listen, we all have different superpowers. Your superpower could be singing. That could be your talent. That's how you make your living. I mean, if you're a good singer and then someone says to you, I've got a political ad and I want you to edit this ad and make it into a movie, well, that's not your talent. You would probably have to hire someone to do that. But when they walk up to you and they give you a wad of cash and say, hey, listen, I've got a song I want you to compose and I will pay you for it. It's your choice. It's your choice. You make that decision. And at the same time, though, let me hasten to add, when you make those choices, be prepared also to embrace the consequences that comes with those choices. Did you hear that? Did you catch that? So Slap D gave his reasons. He gave his reasons. And we shouldn't despise him for his reasons. Instead, I think we should try to understand him. We're in a completely different dispensation now. We have a leadership that is saying to us now, very different from the PF. This new leadership is saying to us, to you and I, is saying, make your choice. Make your stand known. If you like a certain party, align yourself with that party. It is your democratic constitutional right, and nobody should sideline you for it. Nobody should make you feel less than for it. That's what this new administration is saying. In the PF told you if you were not with them, you were their enemy. In the PF, if you wore a red tie, you were sending a subliminal message. Archaic way of thinking. Let's move away from that. Okay? All right. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for watching. Just wanted to share that with you. I'm still in Facebook jail. Mark Zuckerberg and his homeboys have done thrown me in jail, boy. I got 25 days left. but I like YouTube. I really like YouTube, and I'm thankful. It reminds me of that old that film. Some of you may not have seen it. I grew up on this film, The Sound of Music. There's a line in The Sound of Music. You know The Sound of Music? Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer starred in this great film called Sound of Music. There's a line in there where Maria, the nun, Julie Andrews plays the role of this nun named Maria. She's the governess in the film. There's a line in there where she says, when God closes a door somewhere, he opens a window. Well, Facebook is shut, but thank God for the window of YouTube. All right. All right. Well, hey, guys, thank you for watching. God bless you. Bye.